This past September was the most wonderful month for me in recent years. As soon as my vacation started, I wasted no time in implementing the plans I had carefully designed for my free time. My main goal was to drink as many invigorating beers as possible, and then spend the evening at a local bar, fully immersed in the bliss of vacation. Reconnecting with old acquaintances and friends was not part of my plans, as I was eager to embark on an exciting new adventure. After my divorce, I found solace in the company of a charming young woman who filled my heart with love. While she worked diligently at her law firm during the day, I took the opportunity to indulge in alcohol, ensuring that I would be relatively sober by the time she finished work. We would meet at the entrance to her work and then proceed to engage in a series of pleasurable activities, such as going to the movies or dancing at a club. However, on one of the usual days, as I was heading towards downtown, I heard someone call out to me from behind. "Gary." Despite my ingrained habit of ignoring such greetings, I was intrigued by the unfamiliar female voice. Who could be so bold as to call out to me in the middle of a busy street? Slowly turning toward the source of the voice, I pondered my options. When I finally met my gaze with the person who had called out to me, I was stunned and almost stumbled. Standing in front of me was a woman, about 45 years old, radiating warmth and affection with her smile. I want to say I was 29 years old and belonged to a subgroup of people in a non-traditional profession. At the time, however, such details seemed trivial. Yet this woman possessed a certain beauty despite her slight fullness. Her eyes radiated genuine happiness when we met, and there was a hint of curiosity in them, as if asking if I recognized her. Naturally, I recognized her from the first moment. She looked younger and even a little slimmer than before. Standing before me was, as I used to call her, my ex's mother. "I recognize you, Gary," she exclaimed happily. My mind raced through my thoughts on how to handle this unexpected situation. "Hi," I greeted, waving my hand slightly. My face reflected complete delight at this unexpected encounter. One of the valuable lessons I've learned in life is to be honest. "Where are you headed?" I inquired. "Home," she replied, slightly out of breath. "Why take public transportation?" "Let me give you a ride in my car." I never expected to utter such words to my former mother-in-law. Her blue eyes were mesmerizing. They always tended to portray her as a sophisticated and noble person. However, after living with her daughter for 5 years and experiencing happiness and love, I gradually discovered the true nature of my mother-in-law's family values. At first, I was unaware of her tendency to deceive my husband, but after learning the truth, I began to affectionately call her my beloved mother. It didn't take much effort for me to convince her to get in the car. Here we were on our way, and Angela paid a flattering compliment to my car, at the same time trying to ask me about my profession in an equally flattering way. I responded as usual, politely turning my attention back to her. "How are you doing?" "How's your daughter?" I asked, briefly distracted from the conversation. Her smile disappeared, and she fell silent, letting me know that things at home were not going well. Sensing the change in mood, I decided to change the subject. "And you look even more beautiful, I must say," I remarked, looking into her eyes in a slightly seductive tone. After a brief pause, she smiled sweetly and began discussing our past. "You and Emily would make a lovely couple," she said. As we approached a familiar house that I had painful memories with, she playfully asked if I would give her a ride to the driveway. "Of course, Angela, how could I refuse? You may be my former mother-in-law, but you're still my family," I replied with a smile. "I'll also carry your bag. It seems small, but it's heavy." "Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it," she replied. After carrying the bag into the kitchen, I got ready to leave. However, the mother-in-law suggested, "Gary, if you have some time, we could have a little talk," and the mother-in-law became more energetic. She then placed a bottle of wine on the table and added, "You won't be able to resist such an offer, especially since I know how to entice you." We sat in the living room on the couch and made idle chit-chat. Her bright blue eyes were already filled with excitement. As I sipped another glass of wine, I kept my eyes on her dress, which revealed a deep cleavage. I must admit that my mother-in-law has very large breasts, and I prefer everything voluminous. My mother-in-law noticed my lustful gaze and pulled me closer to her breasts, which almost made me choke. Things went on from there, and although I was tired of playing games with her for so long, I felt satisfied because my ex-wife was inexperienced in the bedroom. Moreover, my current girlfriend, the one I live with, is not capable of such things. As a result, we stayed up until early morning, engrossed in watching a romantic movie, so to speak. When morning came, I said goodbye, and my mother-in-law kissed her favorite son-in-law affectionately goodbye, expressing her gratitude and urging me to come more often, as it was getting boring without me. I nodded in agreement and headed back home.